I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube in the luxury handbag community here that ask, is such and such, fill in the blank with a handbag, is it worth it? And lately I've begun to wonder, what does that really mean? Is it worth what? So we're going to explore that in today's video. Handbags, scarves, small leather goods, whatever it may be. Are they worth it, and what does that mean? If you've ever wondered this, then stay tuned and join in the conversation. Hi YouTube, Autumn Beckman here. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My channel is all about luxury living on a budget, from high-end luxury handbags and small goods to the everyday luxuries of life. If that sounds interesting to you, please make sure you subscribe, click the bell notification icon to be notified when I post new videos, and be sure to like the videos that you enjoy. And one of the perks of subscribing to my channel is you get to see my community post on your YouTube homepage, where I post deals, discount codes, sales, and rare finds related to these beautiful things we love. So I've seen all these videos. Is such and such worth it? For example, is an Hermes scarf worth almost $500? Is a mini pochette worth, I have no idea what they even cost now, $500, $700? I think they're around that range. Is it worth it? How about a desk agenda, if you can even find one? Is it worth $600+? It's really just a glorified book cover. I mean, it's just this with a couple of pockets inside. Is this itty bitty tiny nano Fendi baguette worth $1,000? Is this vintage full-size baguette worth $1,000? Is a bag charm worth $400? And let's not even talk about Chanel or Hermes. You could literally buy a car for those prices. So when we ask, is something worth it? Not just in these videos, but when we're thinking about buying a luxury item, what is it that we mean? I think in general, the first thing that comes to mind is price, right? Because price is the big prohibitive factor for most people when it comes to these luxury items. They're just so ridiculously overpriced. And what I just asked you, is it worth it, was all about the price, right? But there's a lot more to it than that. First of all, we know with the prices that all these things are grossly overpriced. If we're looking at it just in terms of the material value of the item, what it costs to make it with the materials and the labor, the shipping, is it actually worth what they're charging us for it? No, of course not, and we all know that. So what other questions are we considering when we ask if something is worth it? Well, for me, there are a few things that I consider. One, is the piece practical? Now, not everything that I own has to be practical, but with these prices relative to my income, most of the items I buy do have to be practical. They have to actually be usable items for me, and they have to be something I will actually use. Do I need a Louis Vuitton book cover? No, it's not a necessity. None of these are necessities, so you can't really look at any of this in terms of a need, right? Not seriously anyway. When I bought this and paid $600 some for it a few years ago, did I choke a little bit because of that price relative to what it actually is material-wise? Yes, I did. It took a little convincing for me to fork over my debit card, but I'm so glad I did, because I have used this almost every single day since I bought it, and it still looks practically brand new. So that piece is very practical, and actually now that I'm saying that, it's brand new. I'm seeing the glazing coming apart a little bit here, but that's a known issue with these things, so you go into these purchases knowing that's likely to happen. We talk on these channels about cost per wear. Let's say I've had this for 2 years. I've actually had it longer than that, but if I've used this every day for 2 years, that's about $1 a day. It's less than $1 a day. Now, if I was just buying cheap notebooks and not a $600 book cover, would it be $1 a day? No. But I really enjoy having that. It makes me happy. And that's my next point. Practical or not, how does the item make you feel? Because let's face it, money absolutely does buy some kinds of happiness. Quite a few different kinds of happiness, actually. And having an item like this make you feel happy, make you feel good in some way, it doesn't mean you're materialistic. It means you enjoy material things, but that is different from being a materialistic person, of course. If something makes you feel good to wear it or use it or just look at it on your shelf, that is value. And that is some of what you have to consider when you're considering the cost. A lot of people also consider the materials. Now, some people will say a coated canvas from Louis Vuitton should be cheaper than leather because leather is a better material. It's a higher quality material. Now, in my personal experience, I have found that the coated canvas wears much better, lasts longer than leather does. doesn't show wear so much. So for me, I'm very happy with that coated canvas for my money. But what about other materials? Some exotics tend to be a lot more expensive, or you might get a nylon bag or a denim bag. Is that still worth a luxury price? Is snake, which is going to take the cost up quite a bit, is that worth the extra price for you? Or an ostrich bag, is that worth an extra several $1,000s? That, I think, comes more down to personal preference. What do you want your collection to be? My collection started mostly with the coated canvas bags. I'm to a point where this year I've made a very conscious effort to add bags in different materials, different colors, different textures, because that's what I want right now. So to me, it's worth it. Or what about sequins? I've been adding sequins. Sequins tend to be fragile. Beads, this has beads on the side, those tend to be fragile. Is it worth taking a chance on a fragile material, or on a material that's not coated and could be stained more easily and show wear more easily? I think that's really, again, in this case, a personal decision. I'm at a point where I'm ready to go beyond what I already had in my collection. I don't want to use the word basic because that's been used in such negative terms. When I say basics, I mean like the fundamentals, the classic pieces, right? The things that you feel like you need to have in your wardrobe. And I feel like for the most part I have those pieces now. There's still a couple more I want to add. I'm ready to go play more. I'm ready to have more fun with the bags and go beyond the fundamentals. And that's what this is about. Now, this is not a practical bag, and it doesn't fit a phone, and that's a deal breaker for a lot of people. When you're asking, is it worth it? There's so many tiny bags now. Does it fit a phone? Is going to tell you yes or no for some people about whether it's worth it. Or questions like, is it a trend? To me, sequins aren't a trend. Denim is not a trend. They may be pieces that you don't carry as often as the classics. Maybe they're pieces that you feel are more for special occasions or for certain outfits. And not everyone is at a point where they feel like they can buy a bag that they know is going to only be worn once a year or maybe 3 times a year. But some people are at that point. So you just have to figure out where you are in that handbag journey and figure out what's right for you at the time, because nobody else can really tell you whether it's worth it to you. It's something you have to decide for yourself. Is the piece you're buying special in some way? Does that matter to you? Are you looking for classics, or are you looking for something different? Are you looking for a limited edition? Are you looking for something you're going to carry every day, or something for a special occasion? Are you looking for something to blend in, or are you looking for something to stand out? And you would also want to consider, is what you're considering a trend piece? Do you want it because it's a trend, because you've seen it everywhere and you just have to have it because everybody else has one too, or at least it seems that way? Is it something that's been hyped up and you're just caught up in the hype? Definitely be aware of that when you're looking to buy something expensive. I might have thought that with this bag, except I've already purchased a few other sequin bags and I wear them and I really love them. And this just goes right along with those. So for me, I don't feel like this is a trend. I feel like it's hopefully a long-term piece in my collection that will get used. Another question, of course, is quality, and that is something that's addressed a lot in these Is It Worth It videos, particularly with things like Chanel. Louis Vuitton, of course, we've heard has had many quality issues over the last several years, and I've heard Chanel has had that too. I don't have as much experience, or maybe any experience, with brand new Chanel, but that's what I've heard. Prices go up, but quality goes down. Not a good thing. So you really have to ask yourself there, is it worth it to you? Why do you want that bag? Why do you want it new? Is it something about how it makes you feel? Would you feel the same way if you got that bag at a better price pre-loved? I tend to go the pre-loved route like 99% of the time. You guys know this. That's what works for me. That helps me justify my purchases in terms of financials, because I'm able to find great deals on most of the things that I buy. And of course, I will have all my favorite pre-loved sites linked in the description box below. Another factor for me that was really big and was really like the kickstart that I needed to start getting into luxury was the realization that these items, many of them, not all, hold their value really well. Some even gain value. So if you're smart with your purchases and you take care of the items that you buy, that doesn't mean you can't use them. Just be careful with them, take care of them. If you ever want to sell them, you change your mind, you decide they're not worth it, or you just want your money back, often you can sell them and get your money back, or a significant portion of it, or sometimes even more. For me, that helps me justify my purchases greatly. That's a big factor there. And I don't sell much, but it's good to know that I could if I wanted to. Another factor is durability. And when you think luxury, you don't necessarily think durability. Like if you're thinking of Chanel lambskin, that's pretty delicate. If you're thinking of sequins, it's pretty delicate. But durability is something that we think about. When we're spending this much money on a bag, we want it to last. So we think about the materials. Maybe we get caviar leather instead of lambskin. A lot of people are hesitant to get something like a denim or like Louis Vuitton's Damier Azur because of color transfer. Personally, I never buy patent leather because I've seen too many pieces on the pre-loved market that have really bad color transfer. But that longevity factor definitely comes into play when we're wondering whether something is worth it. Ultimately though, it's all about what you want to get out of your purchase. Is it a financially sound decision for you? Or is it a splurge that you're okay with? Do you want something for everyday use? Or are you a collector and you want it sitting on your shelves? How will it make you feel? That may be one of the most important factors. If you buy it, will you be really upset with yourself and feel guilty and have a knot in your stomach every time you think about it? Or will it bring you joy every time you look at it and carry it and wear it and use it? What is most important to you when deciding if a luxury purchase is worth it? Please let me know anything else that I didn't mention that you consider when you're making a purchase, and go ahead and leave that in the description box below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. That brings us to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Hope to see you back here next time. I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye.